Hello, Dancing with the Stars fans. I'm Gold Derby editor Daniel Montgomery here with our contributor Cordell Martin. We have just returned from pickling our walnuts with Len Goodman after the elimination of Juan Pablo Di Pace during the Dancing with the Stars semifinals. Let's start with that. There was a double elimination, so we have two people to talk about. I feel like we should talk about both of them extensively, so let's take them one at a time. Juan Pablo Di Pace, the highest scoring contestant of the season, based on the judges' scores, the average judges' scores throughout the season, got two perfect scores on Monday night's semifinals, eliminated in fifth place, tied for fifth place with the other one we'll talk about in a minute, Grocery Store Joe Amabile. So first off, I know we were chatting last night during the show. You mentioned you weren't totally surprised by Juan Pablo's elimination. Tell us what you thought about that, and your reaction a day later.
Yeah, with Juan Pablo, I wasn't surprised that he went home a week before the finals, just because of how screwy this season has been. In terms of just like great dancers or people you expected to go further, like DeMarcus, who on paper would have been a lock to win or at least be in the finals. And then someone like Tinashe, who you assume would be at least in the top six. And just to see those contestants kind of falter throughout the season, I wasn't surprised with Juan Pablo. And then also with him, his personality, he just didn't have that engaging personality like Milo or Ivana or even Alexis to a certain extent, and even Bobby, where you wanted to root for them or you just felt a connection. I just felt with him, it was just Dancing with the Stars by the numbers. You have a good-looking guy with Cheryl Bird who could dance really well, and there was just no sense of growth or a sense of connection that you were like, I really want him to win. It was kind of like, we'll see him in the finals. So I think people were complacent with him, and then obviously it showed with him being eliminated.
Yeah, I think with Juan Pablo, I think he could have come out of his shell a little bit more. We got glimpses of that over the course of this. Like him designing his costume for Disney night was so like charming and adorable. And then even in during the semifinals, his parents came in. He dedicated the first dance to his mother, and his parents came into the training, and he was so happy. Like that kind of like humanization of him, more so. I think we got some of that during the season, but it was never the kind of breakout moment. And I think what we definitely learned from like this is like an experiment that we've now run. Like as obnoxious as so many of us think that Alexis Wren, Alan Burstyn showmance has been and felt very calculated and very kind of artificial. I mean, prove us wrong. We'll see them on the ABC special where they're getting married next year. I'll be happy for them, but it does seem a little manufactured for the show. And yet she didn't have a fan base earlier in the season, and she's gotten one. So it feels like the only difference, because she's been a good dancer the whole season.
Yep.
So it feels like the one difference is that showmance has given her an opportunity to kind of let the audience into a more emotional side of her, if you believe that emotional side is real or not. So really, I think what we're saying is that Juan Pablo Di Pace really should have fallen in love with Cheryl.
Feels engaged.
Well, that would have been even more dramatic. It would have been unrequited love. And so he would have been dancing with this woman who was breaking his heart. Like he just needed a storyline. So for next season, every single celeb who is like, if you're in like the bottom 3 or something, or in Jeopardy, you're like, okay, our next clip package, we're making out. That needs to be the the approach from now on. So you ended up with Alexis Wren, Ivana Lynch, Milo Manheim, and Bobby Bones in the finale. But we did not end up with Grocery Store Joe.
Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. Oh.
which as it's kind of a relief that he was eliminated. Like once they said he was in jeopardy last night, I'm like, they have not said he's in jeopardy at all this season, and I know it's because they do not want to encourage his fans to like vote more. So the second they said he was in jeopardy, I'm like, okay, he's gone. He's finally gone. It's just a matter of who he's going with. So it's a little bit disappointing to think that given their relative performances over the course of the season, he is tied with Juan Pablo Di Pace for his standing at the end of the season. Well, you know, I think it's clear that you're happy with this outcome, but walk us through your feelings about Grocery Store Joe and his
long overdue. He almost made me just drop Dancing with Stars completely. If he would have made it to the finals, I would have just been like, you know, it's been a great run of me being a longtime viewer. It's just I have to put it to rest. But I think for him, what works in his favor, and also someone like Bobby Bones, is just because the ratings have dropped drastically since its peak. Now it's so easier. It's much easier for someone with a big fan base to make it through because there's fewer viewers watching. So, you know, back in his heyday, like the best dancers usually did stay towards the end, and the horrible dancers would last, you know, middle of the show and then will go before like semifinals or quarterfinals. But now, because of the viewership so small that you have a dedicated, you know, audience, like, you know, the crossover appeal between the Bachelor audience and Dance with Stars, it results like Grocery Store Joe lasting to semifinals. So I'm glad he's gone. I did not want to see him in the finals. I didn't want to see him in doing a freestyle and the judges going easy on him and all of that. But he should be proud of himself that he made it this far.
Yeah, once someone is gone, it's like I feel less like upset. It's like, okay, yeah, genuinely his last dance of the show was one of his best. He got coached by Carrie Ann and Abba for the Judges' Choice dance. She was very strict with him during the coaching, or at least what we saw in the clip package. You know, she would see him start to move, and she's like, "You are not breathing like a normal person. None of that looks natural." And so she was really hammering it home, just like breathe, breathe, breathe. And you could see it come through in the dance. His last dance, like, I mean, it wasn't the kind of dance of someone who deserved to be in the semifinals, but it was the kind of dance of someone who was trying and who genuinely made progress, especially from week one. So, like, I mean, I'm sort of good for him. It's not his fault he made it that far. Especially, and I was going to ask you, but I think you've answered it with, you know, talking about the lower ratings for the show in general, giving you help for a fan base. It's interesting because there have been several Bachelor alums on the show before, and most of them have made it somewhere in the middle, 6th, 7th, 8th place. Most of them danced a little better than Grocery Store Joe, but they all had that fan base, but they still kind of went in the middle of the pack instead of going all the way to the end. So it's interesting that Joe, that fan base went so much farther. I wonder if that's going to influence their decision making on whether to to cast Bachelor alums on the show in the future. Because you know, if we see this trend continue, it's like you're gonna have to make sure they can dance ahead of time, so that when they like you can engrave a spot in the semifinals for anyone from the Bachelor now. Which you know, if they can dance, great, but like we don't want that guarantee that someone with a certain fan base just gets to the as far as they want.
Oh, yeah, they just need to take a break from it. Bachelor, Bachelorette contestants for a while, like give it a season or two before another one is cast, which means the next Bachelor will probably be the next season. So,
and what's interesting though about Grocery Store Joe, I think Grocery Store Joe was the best thing this season that could have happened to Bobby Bones. Yep. Because Bobby Bones, he was better than Grocery Store Joe, not drastically better, but better enough that it's like every week it's like, oh, Joe is still around, and it's like, oh yeah, Bobby is too. So Grocery Store Joe took a lot of that heat. But I just looked like, because we talked about David Ross factor. It's like you have the fan base, but you can't dance. David Ross had the 6th highest judges average in his season, and he finished 2nd, and that seemed insane. Bobby Bones, going into the finals, has the 9th highest judging average. So it's so much worse, and yet it doesn't seem that way because Grocery Store Joe seems so much more egregious. So I'm wondering if like he's like smooth sailing. Now that he made the finals, he's gone as far as he could possibly go. Maybe that backlash doesn't actually catch up to him, and I think he might. I think he'll probably finish in the top 3. I don't think he'll win, but I think he could pull a 2nd or a 3rd place like David Ross did, and it would be so egregious given his scores. If you consider that the scores inflate over time, like the judges just give nicer scores as you go along, whether you really get better or not. Tinashe still is in the top 5, even though she was eliminated so early. She was still kind of in the 8s. So that just goes to show you how much how much Bobby never really improved. Like he got straight 8s, and he said, "Those are my 10s because I know my ceiling." So now that Grocery Store Joe is gone, now that Juan Pablo is gone, I was thinking during the show they're grooming him as the new front runner going to the finale, and then he doesn't even make the finale. And now I'm just like, I've been predicting Milo Manheim all season, but they lowballed him on Monday night, like drastically. And Ivana is peaking at the right time, and now I'm starting to think maybe Milo peaked like 3 or 4 weeks too soon. And so now Ivana has the momentum. So now I'm predicting Ivana at the moment to win. What about you? Where are you at?
That's what I'm thinking too. Because I think like our last conversation, we were deciding who was going to be in the finals, and I had a feeling Ivana and Milo were definitely going to be in, and of course I knew Bobby was going to sneak his way in somehow, some way. But to your point, Ivana has just started to peak at the right time. It's always that one contestant towards the end of the season that just starts to peak. If you think like a Rashad Jennings or I'm drawing a blank, Melissa Rycroft or contestants like that, they're probably like the top 3 or 4 contestants in terms of dance ability, but they just never had their moments really shine because they were better dancers or more just extravagant dance that the judges really loved. And for her, she just kept going and going and going. And I think also her journey, people just latched onto, with her battling the eating disorder and working on her confidence. And just getting to the point where she's like, I'm just going to have fun. I don't care what the judges say or try to be perfect for them. I'm just going to enjoy this moment. And I think the audience hopefully will rally behind her and give her that much deserved win, and also give Keo his first win.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy for Keo. One of my favorite moments on the show is that I never know exactly how much of the pros are invested in it. Because even if you're eliminated early, you're still on the show. You get to do the troop dances and all, and you get to be in other people's routines. It's not like you're out of a job. Mm-hmm. But when Aaron Andrews was interviewing after their dance, Ivana and Keo, and she was telling Ivana, it's like, you've gotten Keo farther than he's ever gotten before. How does that feel? And then you look at Keo is like crying, and I'm just like, oh, I want her to win for him so badly that it's, oh man. And what's interesting, though, about the finale is that 3 out of the 4 pros would be first-time Mirrorball champions.
Wow.
You've got Alan Burston, you've got Keo, and you've got Sharna. Sharna's been waiting forever. Who would have thought that Bobby would have gotten her this close?
Yeah, but I feel like Sharna just has that built-in fan base because she's been how many, 5 times now? She's
been in the finals a good bit, at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, so I mean, she just has that fan base, and attached with Bobby's fan base, that country block. Like I will keep saying, every contestant that's on here has some country affiliation.
Country affiliation or somewhat conservative political affiliation. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also with the tie to American Idol, like ABC isn't slick. Like this is Ginger Z all over again. Like once she was announced, I was like, she's gonna make it to the finals, regardless if she's the best dancer or not. And what happened? She made the top three. And then with Bobby,
Well, at least I think Ginger deserved it. She might not have been in my personal top three, but she would have been in my personal like top 4 or 5. So I'm like, I do not begrudge her that.
well, yeah, I mean, I won't ever compare it to Bobby Bones, but I mean, it's just the certain connections. You're just kind of like, I could see that. Like Bobby has American Idol, and then with the Country Music Awards coming on tomorrow, he can go on stage and say, "Hey guys, I'm in the finale of Dance Star." So, and then also with Alexis being rumored to be a part of the tour. Once I found that out, I was like, she might make it to the finals because they're not going to have someone who was, in the semifinals be a part of the tour. So
Yeah, Alexis, that was the biggest surprise to me. Once they announced the bottom
yeah,
three, I thought I was predicting Alexis to be going home no matter what. I thought she like maybe Grocery Store Joe will go, maybe Bobby will go if Grocery Store Joe has more fan support. But I thought Alexis was her days were numbered.
yep.
So when they announced her for the bottom three at the end of the night for the in Jeopardy, I thought what they were doing was they're putting all right, Alexis and Joe are gone, and they're trying to goose Juan Pablo's fan base into voting for him for the finale. So that's what I thought they were setting up. And so then when they said Alexis was safe, I was like, what the hell just happened? Because I thought, like, I could have seen a scenario where they could have said, Ivana was in jeopardy or Milo was in jeopardy, just to, for suspense's sake. But like putting Alexis in jeopardy, I thought, okay, well, she's just gone.
Yeah.
That was the biggest surprise for me there.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought they were going to say, Joe, you're safe. Like once it was Juan Pablo, Grocery Store Joe, and Alexis, I was like, it'll be my luck. He's going to make it to the finale just for suspense. But then to your point, I thought, okay, Alexis, she's done. Like, she had a great journey. The fact that I know I wrote her off in the beginning, I thought she would have made it top 10 at least. So the fact that she made it this far, I was like, well, that's good for her. But to your point, once they said she made it to the finale over Juan Pablo and Grocery Store Joe, I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, as kind of annoying as the showmance has been, I think it gets lost. Like I have to remind myself, she's been a really good dancer all season. She really belongs in the finals. I just wish they would take the foot off the gas with that love story a bit. Like at this point, she's in the finals. I do not want to see a clip package of her, making kissy faces with Alan in.
Oh, the freestyle is gonna be some over dramatic love story, babe.
He's gonna propose. It's gonna be his proposal to her. It's gonna be their freestyle.
Daniel, please don't speak that existence. Then they just cancel the show. Just like, it's been a great run. We'll just stick to Dance with the Stars Juniors.
Oh, Dancing with the Stars Juniors. I wonder how long that's gonna go because that's still got 6 kids left in it.
Oh yeah, probably gonna go at least till early December.
Yeah, maybe. Which is surprising. I would thought, because they coordinated things so well. Halloween nights on the same weekend and Disney nights the same time, back to back. So I figured they would kind of set them up to finish close to the same point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some of those kids could wipe the floor with some of these adults.
Yeah.
Miles, like if Bobby Bones were watching Miles Brown on Dancing with the Stars Juniors, he would just quit.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Well, what are you thinking about? I mean, Milo Manheim, I thought was going to be the front runner going all the way to the end, and now he seems to have lost steam. The judges are picking on him a little bit more than I think they should. Do you think how confident are you in him? He's got Whitney Carson who's trying to get her next Mirrorball after Alfonso.
Yeah, I mean, amongst the final 4, I think Alexis is going to come in 4th. Bobby Bones will probably come in 3rd, and I think it's between Milo and Ivana. Um, I think with them, it's just that they're kind of the same in terms of just like their personality. People really love. They're really likable. They're both great dancers. Um, Milo is now starting to get nitpicked by the judges as Ivana has been just criticized from week one. And she
Yeah.
got 5 from Lynn. I could see the judges kind of leaving it up to the audience and give them equal scoring, as opposed to having an agenda and push one over the other. But I think it's close. I mean, I could see it going either Milo or Ivana. The only thing that's hurting Milo is that usually younger male stars rarely win. And I think the youngest is it Jordan Fisher?
Yeah, Jordan Fisher, he was 23.
Oh, 23? So that's the only thing I'm kind of hesitant on, and rarely do Disney stars win the show. Like, I think Jordan's the only Disney affiliated, star to win Dance with the Stars. So maybe I could see him win, but I just think Ivana is gonna pull out slightly ahead of him.
It's interesting. Yeah, it does. Speaking of Jordan Fisher, it does remind me a little bit of that season's race where, like this season, it seemed to have been more wide open all season. That season really kind of felt like it was Lindsey Sterling and Jordan Fisher all the way, as one and two, no matter which order it was, and then as the season progressed, Jordan just kind of started running away with it. It feels like that, except Milo hasn't had that dominant level that Jordan Fisher did. And Jordan Fisher, of course, in the last weeks was more dominant than ever, and Milo has started to fall off in the scores. So, yeah, I feel like, I've never gone into a finale this kind of uncertain, like where it's this wide open. Even the year of Rashad Jennings, I was pretty sure that he had pulled ahead of Normani, even though a lot of people thought Normani was going to win. And she ended up in third. So I was pretty sure that Rashad had that trajectory. This year, no one has that perfect trajectory. Ivana is peaking, but she's peaking late. It's not like the last 5 weeks she's been moving up and up and up. It's really been just like the last 3 weeks that she's really gotten the judges' appreciation. And Milo, it's only been the last couple of weeks that he's kind of lost a little bit of a step with the judges. So it'll be interesting to see how that evens out next week. What are you looking forward to the most from the finale episode?
Looking forward to the freestyles, just to see what direction everyone goes. I think we'll definitely see something entertaining from Bobby and Milo. I could see Ivana going more the emotional route. I'm hoping that they just do something lighthearted and fun. And we already know Alexis and Alan are going to go the romance, happy, dramatic routine. They'll probably like some contemporary type of routine. So, looking forward to that. Just very curious on how they're going to do the whole results. Like, are they going to break up fourth, third, second, and first, or they're just going to announce the winner? 2 hour? Is it a 2 hour finale or 1 hour? Do you know?
Better not be 1 hour. I don't know how you fit in like freestyles and and all that. Like I was thinking it's gonna be 2 or 3. I don't know. Maybe I could see them doing a 3-hour finale where it's kind of 2 hours of competition, and then the last hour is sort of more of a build up to the results kind of thing. Just spread it out. Because honestly, I'm worried that with a one-night finale with 4 finalists, it's gonna be kind of like a multi-car pilot kind of car wreck. It's just chaos the whole night.
Yeah.
And I'm worried because we saw that with the how rushed the athlete season was, and that was kind of a train wreck towards the end, where everything felt so compressed and rushed. So I don't want to see that happen this time. So I'm rooting for like a 3-hour finale, even though that means more work for me.
Yeah, and then in terms of rankings, who do you think is going to be first, second, third, and fourth?
I think I'm with you. Right now, I think the momentum for Ivana is on her side to win. I think Milo is right there with her. I would imagine there's probably going to be some live vote components. So if Milo has a really great freestyle, which I expect him to have, he can get that momentum right back up. And then I do think Bobby's going to have enough fan base support to pull him up into third place. I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see him get as high as second.
Yeah.
And Alexis, she just feels like that kind of contestant who that beautiful beauty queen kind of contestant who makes it this far, but then kind of falls short at the very end, like a little bit like a Janelle Parrish who finished third her season. Jana Kramer finished fourth her season. So I feel like she is going to get fourth. I don't think she's got even with the showmans, I don't think she's got the fan base to take on Bobby Bones.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And then also, just for like future seasons, do you think that they should change any rules in terms of having a dance-off or anything along that nature, just to kind of avoid the whole Bobby Bones and Grocery Store Joe fiasco that's taken over this season?
Well, at the very, very least, the show needs a judge's veto. Where the show, and it's, and a lot of reality shows have it, and it's up to a certain point. So, I don't think they should have a veto for this last elimination, where, which would give them the opportunity to basically pick who they want in the finals. It should be the kind of veto that kind of expires after, maybe the top six or something like that. So you need something like just for weird things, like when a Tinashe goes home in 10th place, that's just nope, just undo. And so I don't know how you would handle that if it's not, if the judges veto that and then someone else goes home that night, or which is probably more fair if they veto that and then the next week there's a double elimination, which would give them a chance to kind of come back to dance again and give their fan base a chance to vote for them again. And then if they're gone again, then okay, we did what we could.
That's true. Yeah, I was thinking probably what they should do is mirror what they do for Strictly Come Dancing, which is the UK equivalent. Well, actually, the main show that Dance with Stars from America, pretty much their version of the UK version. And they do a dance-off, I think maybe until semifinals or whatnot, and the judges will decide who stays and who goes. So I think, to your point, if they did something like that until the top six, and then once it's top six, it's every man and woman for themselves. It's up to your fans to vote for you. I think at least it can kind of even out the playing field in terms of getting a solid mix of, the best dancers, but then also those that are entertaining to the audience as well.
Yeah, I think So You Think You Can Dance has a similar thing. They don't do a dance-off, but they will announce, okay, here are, 2 people are going home. We're going to announce the bottom 4 based on the viewer votes, because the judges don't actually get, to score the routines. But then once you get those bottom 4, the judges will make that final decision. It's okay, you 2 stay, you 2 go. So that gives them, and up until I think the last week or 2, they can still do that. So I really do think there needs to be a little bit more of an opportunity for the judges to kind of say, nope, this went off the rails. We need the Electoral College to come in here. We need recounts. We need, just this cannot happen. Because this season has been so weird, just unusually weird with Grocery Store Joe, Tinashe going home as early as she did. She seemed like someone who could have an early elimination, a shocking elimination, but not in 10th place.
Exactly.
And so it's just I like it better than athletes, but I think they need some retooling on their voting system and their rules a bit.
Yeah, and also just the type of contestants that they get to, because I just feel like it's just really odd with this Final Four. Ivana, I knew, okay, she could be a hit or miss. She had Kia, who hasn't had the best of luck. But we knew, okay, this would be the first time to see, if the Harry Potter fan base will come out to support her. Bobby Bones, we kind of knew he fit the whole David Ross thing.
Especially after that week 1 dance.
Exactly. So I was just like, okay, I'm not surprised. Milo fits the dance, the Disney star who can dance, likable. They usually make it to the finals. But then, like Alexis, you just knew she didn't have the fan base, and Alan is kind of a new pro. I mean, he's been on for like 2 or 3 seasons. To your point, it's just really odd because you would think someone like Mary Lou would have made the finals or semifinals just because of who she is and her celebrity status and as an athlete. And DeMarcus being a football player and had a charm, week 1, like knocked the socks off of the judges. So you're like, okay, he's in. And then to your point, Tinashe as well, or Juan Pablo. Like Juan Pablo is supposed to be the new Latin heartthrob of the season. Tinashe was just the R&B girl with the dance experience, and to see them kind of just fall by the wayside was very interesting. Even someone like Danielle, who, in the past, those contestants that had to overcome obstacles, whether it's a disability or whatever it may be, they usually make it to like top 6. Like with her grocery store Joe, like that would have made sense just following how Dance with the Stars work. But the fans are like, no, we're tired of that storyline. We're gonna kick her out early on. So it was very interesting.
Well, I'll let our viewers go with a little bit of insight. At Gold Derby, our users predict every week of the competition, and they predict every week anew. So the predictions change from week to week. Week 1, I opened up our predictions for who will win the Mirrorball Trophy in week 1.
Uh-oh.
First place, Tinashe.
Mm.
Second place, Juan Pablo.
Mm.
Third place, DeMarcus. And fourth place, Nikki Glaser. So, yeah, we were a little off. But we did have Ivana in 5th.
Top 5, not bad. But, like, that's exactly.
Actually, yeah, 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6, 7, and 8 were Ivana, Bobby, Alexis, and Milo. So we were right. We just sort of had to chop the top 4 off.
Wow. Yeah. See, it's just a very interesting season, and it messed up my whole predictions. Usually I'm like in the top 5 or top 10 with my Gold Derby predictions each week, but this season has just blew up my whole game plan. So now I don't even know what to do next season in terms of predicting. I'm just going to pick a random person like, oh, I'll just pick this person to win. Doubt they have dance experience, but who cares? It doesn't matter.
Nothing matters anymore.
Exactly.
That's the new tagline for Dancing with
Just show up and smile.
Well, with that, thank you, Cordell, for joining me for this discussion. We will certainly reconvene next week, and I will convene with some of our other contributors later this week. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and thank you, everyone, for riding this out with us, this Grocery Store Joe journey that we've all been on together. We've all been through a lot. So thank you very much, and we will see you next week.